along. Friends, what am I doing with these pre-cooked pork patties? I'm doing something creative with them today. Come along and see what I'm doing. Okay, so we had these pork patties and my daughter was given them, and yes, I could put them in my freezer, but I was trying to think outside of the box. Like many of you, you're trying to make things, I want to make things that are shelf stable. And I'm also been trying to think outside of the box more and more as my deep freeze is 34 years old. And yes, it could go a lot of years, but we never know what's going to come our way. And how nice would it be to be able to have this pork patties, it's food, to be able to eat off the shelf. Have it easy, have it quick. Wouldn't have to turn on the oven. Sorry, my hand is moving here. So I actually called our extension here in Minnesota and was asking, is there such a way that these are pre-cooked, or even if they weren't pre-cooked, could I can them? And the answer is yes. And so that's what I'm doing today. I suppose there's some people that will can, raw can. These are already cooked. They've been unthawed. And I suppose I could just pack them in the jar, but what I am going to do is I'm going to cut them up a little bit and heat them a little bit in my oven, and then we're going to can them. And they will be awesome to be able to add to eggs, to add to a soup. You could do so many things, the same thing as you would pork. So these are pork patties. So I'm being useful in something that I had and thinking outside of the box. So I thought I would try to film this, and was thinking of you, some of you that might not have deep freezers, but are in a situation like this where you might have sausage links, you could have sausage patties. You know, think outside of the box. So come along with me. So what I'm going to do right now is, I thought I could stick these in the oven and warm them in a whole part, but then I have to cut them up smaller pieces to fit in the jar when they're hot. So I'm going to do it ahead of time. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm getting my scissors. My kitchen scissors. My hands are clean. And I'm just going to cut these up. Cut them in smaller pieces where I can fit them in the jar. So cut these all up. These are going to be so nice to be able to put in a dish. One step. You won't have to do in a hurry. I have a family member that goes through my pantry and takes jars with them to wherever they're going, and they can warm it up. Or if it's something they don't mind eating at room temperature, they do that. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to cut them up in pieces like this, and I'm going to warm them in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes. What these in is these jelly jars. When I called my extension office for canning, they said I could put these in a jelly jar and process it the same as you would a pint. Good deal. These were normally $9 and we got them for a little over $3. And I didn't have all my jelly jars. I made jelly and gave them away for Christmas. I have a few left, but I have another project coming up that I want to be using the few jars I do have. So I thought I didn't need a whole pint, that I would just pack them in these jelly jars and be able to use them that way. make it so easy. I suppose many of you use these to cut pizza. I didn't know that tip when some of my kids were younger. But I sure use it on my grandchildren. And my youngest I did. But I had a 13-year gap between number 3 and number 4 child. So this is what I'm doing. So the meat has been heated up in the oven. Again, this was pre-cooked pork patties. And I have the jars in the oven at 250, getting sterilized.
225.
Oh, 225.
We have a little helper. Someone is learning early how to can.
Okay, so
Hello.
like, guess who this is?
She moved mountains.
I
think
do.
I said that right. I don't know.
She
Moved mountains. There we
moved
go.
mountains. So like many of you, you're in the middle of a project. Sometimes you have to recruit help. My help is because the little guy that's here is wanting to be by me today, and I'm in the middle of this project. And yes, she could take him to another room, but he still wants to be by me. So what we're
He
gonna
has his days where he wants me or he wants her. So today's the day that he wants
and he
her.
wants to watch. So we're going to do it together.
Yeah.
And again, I am so excited because I watch many of your channels, and yes, you do so many meats and different things like this. But this is something I haven't seen, and if I did, forgive me. But to be canning what we are today.
It's a really good idea too, because you can use it in many recipes, and it's a nice thing to have on hand.
So we'll continue. Just wanted to let you know, if you see other hands and these wrinkly things, they belong
It's
to
me.
someone of you. While the jars are in the oven getting sterilized, that you can do that other than putting in boiling water, because we are pressure canning. I have my jars, I'm sterilizing them in the oven, and I have my lids. My mind is going
On a low simmer.
on a low simmer, not boiling.
Do not boil.
Do not boil. Do not boil. Okay, our jars are done. Okay, so the jars are done. And again, if you have a large family, you could put these in bigger jars. For me, I thought easier to do. So I have my hot jars. My water is boiling. And something I thought about I could have possibly done is, instead of putting this in the oven, I could have put it in a kettle of water and heated the meat up that way, because again, it was pre-cooked, and then use that water to put in the jar. And yes, we have a little one that's joining in.
He's trying to tell us how to do it.
So what I'm going to do is pack the sausage in the jars. I have to leave a 1-inch head clearance. Okay, pack them in there. I'm gonna add some boiling water. Again, you could use a broth, you could use tomato, and then I'm debubbling it, really packing it in there. So it's down in there. I'm gonna make sure the meat's covered, and I think, okay. Again, this is the first time. I wanna say I am so thankful for you, that I've done canning for years, but my family hasn't always done meat. So this is something new and really fun. I'm loving to get my meat and everything's more shelf stable. You never know what's gonna happen in this crazy world. Whoops, again, forgive me here. So the meat is in there. Trying to do this and keep an eye on the little one. White vinegar, want to clean your rims. I did check these, they're all smooth. Take my magnet here, it is clean. Put it on. And you want to tighten it only hand tight.
If you tighten it any tighter than hand tight, it will be a bear to get it off after canning it.
So one jar done. And again, some of you might want to put these in bigger jars. These are jelly jars. You could do pint jars, but these are what worked. I thought good amount for a couple people for this. So in the canner, it goes. Okay, I was able to get 2, 4, 6, 8 jelly jars, and the middle one I did a pint. So 2 pounds of pre-cooked sausage patties in the canner, in warm water. So now in my canner is a splash of white vinegar. And on the ring, the rubber seal, you want to check it, make sure it's soft. I've done that. Put some oil on it. And make sure I got it just turn the right way. I think I have to turn it around. On here is an arrow. It locks. Again, this is a pressure canner. So what I'm going to do is turn up the heat until this vents. When steam starts coming out for 10 minutes, some of you may already know this, some may not. So there's 4 quarts of water in here with the jars, and so turn the heat up as this steams and gets a good steady steam for 10 minutes. Then I will put this weight on and we will wait for it to come to pressure. Now these are pints and I have a dial gauge and we are under 1,000 feet, so it will be 11 pounds of pressure. You can check the canning guide for whatever altitude is what you are. What I found on the site for my state, for the state of Minnesota, is a dial gauge from 0 to 2,000 feet altitude. It's 11 pounds for a dial. And for 2,000 to 4,000, it's 12 pounds. For 4,000 to 6,000, 4,000 to 6,000, it's 13 pounds. And then for 6,000 to 8,000, it's 14 pounds. For a weighted gauge, under 1,000, it's 10 pounds of pressure. And if you're over 1,000, it's 15 pounds. And then you would use a weight like this. You wouldn't have the gauge. You can check on there about that. So what we're doing is waiting for this plug to come up, for a steam to come, a steady steam for 10 minutes. Then I'll put the weight on, wait for this to come up to pressure, and then they are pints. We will go 75 minutes. If they were quarts, it would be 90. I'll come back.
Okay, the thing popped up over here and we have a steady stream, as you can see. So we are gonna come over here and set our timer for 10 minutes. Sorry, the light, you can't see it. And then in 10 minutes, we'll place the gauge on. But not yet. We'll be back. Yay! Our timer just turned off. So now we are gonna take our weight and set it on top and wait for it to come to our weight. Okay, so the jars are in the canner processing for 75 minutes at 11 pounds. Now that's for our altitude, and then you process quartz at 90 minutes, again at the weight for your altitude. So we'll be back at the next step. So our timer just went off. So we are gonna be turning the timer off. You're turning the heat off, but do not remove the lid yet. So now we are going to be waiting for the temperature to go down naturally. Do not try to cool it down, force cool. Let it go down naturally by itself. And then when it does, we have to wait another 10 minutes to remove the cover, and we will come back and show you. Now that the gauge is back down to 0 and that this has gone down, we can remove the weight, set that aside, and now we are going to wait 10 minutes to remove the cover. Okay, now that the canner has been sitting 10 extra minutes to cool down, we're going to remove the cover and start lifting the jars over to the towel we already have laid on the counter. There we have it. Canned pork that is still bubbling. It looks beautiful. Thank you for joining this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.